Hello everybody and welcome back to another video, and today we are at teamsport Warrington, and now this race was an interesting one because, as you'll see later on in the video, there is a little mini game, I guess you could call it, in this race. So we're just waiting for lights out, so try to get the best start possible, and we're off. So I got a pretty good start, but Jake Anders gets a phenomenal start. So now we're in P3, so we have Dan G in P1, Jake Anders in P2, and myself in P3. Just taking the defensive line to make sure nobody dive bombs, and this race is really a good one, so I have to stay to the end to see what ends up happening. Very interesting end result, definitely what you wouldn't expect it. So just trying to keep on the back of Jake Anders, just give him a little nudge there, trying to keep him on the back of Dan G, as I know he has really good racecraft. As you can see, Jake's already going for moves on Dan, and it looks like he goes for the switch back but doesn't quite get it. I tried to go alongside Jake Anders, but I don't get the move either. So I take the slightly wider line, don't quite get a run on Jake Anders. Jake here looks up the inside, but not quite close enough to Dan here. I'm also thinking, trying to create a gap. As you can see there, I just quickly check back to see if there's a gap yet. And as the race goes on, us front three drivers make a really big gap from the rest of the pack, and you see that quite often. So here you can see I get alongside Jake and just checks back to see if he needs to defend or not, and there again, but we just don't quite get the switch back. So here I know that there's a gap, so I took the slightly wider line. I probably could have gone out a bit wider, but so as you can see, we're all over each other here. We're just trying to fight put for position. By this point, I'm pretty sure there's a gap behind us. Lewis Tracy in P4 behind me, so I'm conscious of that. Dan takes the defensive line. Dan was defending very well on this night, so was Jake. I check back there to see if I can take the racing line, and I can, but I have to brake as Dan and Jake are defending. Jake looks up the inside again, just can't quite get the run on the up ramp, which is very unfortunate. Now I'm here, just give Jake a little nudge, try and get him back on the bumper of Dan, and I'm doing this so that we can work together and I can push Jake through past Dan and I can follow through. So Jake would be in P1 and I would be in P2 with Dan in P3. Jake going for a switch back there, but just can't quite get it. I look for exit speed through turn 3. As my kart wasn't accelerated very fast, I take the racing line once again. I think I just tried to get alongside Jake, but I'm just too far back. Jake looks, oh no he doesn't, holds his racing line because he knows that I got back about half a kart's length. So here, right back on the bumper of Jake. But as you can see, he accelerates really fast down the down ramp, but his boost button didn't work on this lap. As you can see, he's putting his hand up. So he takes a slightly defensive line into turn 1. I tried to get alongside, coming into turn 2, and the back end goes for me, so I couldn't quite pull over. So I just stick to my racing line and stay on the bumper. We both take the racing line. I go a little bit too far over to the left there, but I managed to make it up through that final underground corner. So once again, just trying to keep up with Jake and Dan, just making sure they don't get away from me. Just looking for a move. I do give Jake a bit of a nudge there. That was my bad. But as you can see, they pulled right away there. And the only thing I wasn't like very happy about on this race night was that one marshal stood at the 2 fastest corners on the whole track, because it was slightly distracting. Yeah, so we just get alongside Jake Anders there, but I just can't quite do anything with it. Give him a little nudge to try and see if he can do anything in the up ramp. He looks up the inside, just doesn't quite get that though. I fell back a bit here. I clipped the barrier quite hard there. That's a result of me taking the previous corners wrong, and as you can see, they pulled right away because of it. And this is why I wasn't very happy with the marshals there. So I'd look up, I'd take the complete wrong line and go skidding off into the barrier. And luckily Jake is going off the racing line, and so is Dan, which gives me the chance to catch back up. As you can see, Jake took the defensive line there, although he didn't need to. But he probably didn't realise that I hit the barrier. As you can see, he just looks at the inside again, but just can't get the move done. As Danji's fast laps are phenomenal. For example, in qualifying, he got a 51.6, and for contrast, my personal best is a 52.015. So Dan and Jake were flying in qualifying. In qualifying, my lap time was a 52.4, and I was consistently lapping 52s this night. As you can see, Jake looks for the switchback, just can't quite get it. And again, I'm sure he's going to look up the inside of the ramp, just can't quite get the run on Dan G on the up ramp. Dan G keeps getting really nice runs up onto the up ramp, and it's back and forth, and I'm just still trying to recover from that incident where I hit the barrier. Just still trying to catch back up. Up through turn 1, you can see I use my body weight to get more weight on the rear tyres of the kart, and as you can see, just through turn 1, 2 and 3, I'm right back on the bumper of Jake Anders. I take a slightly wider line. I probably could have gone wider. Well, I was just trying something new, seeing if I could keep right on the bumper of them. Jake Anders taking a defensive line there, probably smart of him. Shutting off the inside line so I can't try and dive at the inside. And if there was one thing I could change about this race, I probably would have tried to work with Jake a little bit more to try and get past Dan, instead of trying to get past Jake. But as you can see, I take the outside line, try and get the switch back on turn 2, but once again, it's just it was quite cold, so there wasn't a lot of grip, so the back end kept sliding out. So it's just trying to run the kart on the edge of in between, not pushing the kart hard enough and pushing the kart too hard. Jake takes the defensive line on the up ramp again. And he's right back on the bumper, Dan G. Once again challenging him for position, fighting for P1. And trying to get position before we have to do our pit stop, as you'll see in a moment. So I take the wider line, look for the switchback, but I over exaggerated it a little bit, so Jake ended up pulling away. Once again, take the racing line, catch right back up. Looks like Jake looks up the inside, but just can't quite get close enough to Dan just to send it up the inside, which I totally understand. It's very hard to do. So I'm always impressed when he gets the move done on me. So as you can see, I fell right back again, but once again I use my body weight up through the turn 1, turn 2, and once again here, turn 3. I lean out of the corner to get more weight on the opposite tyre, which leads me to have more traction through the corner, meaning that my back end isn't going to slip out as easily. Which also leads to me being able to go faster through the corner, which is simply a win-win. So that's how I use my body weight through corners to catch back up to other drivers. Now here I'm starting to look out for the marshal black flag on me, which was the signal for us to pit. And I was making sure to remind myself that I'm getting black flagged to pit, not because I've done something wrong, which I'm pretty sure a couple of the drivers did, and they wondered why they were getting black flagged, and then they remembered. But as you can see, if you haven't been to TeamSport Warrington yet, the electric redo. The pit lane is now to the right of the up ramp, whereas it used to be on the left here, which I really think is a good upgrade. The pit lane's a lot bigger, they have room for the chargers for the carts, and it's just overall a good upgrade. So as you can see, we're right back on the bumper of Jake Anders. Dan G has pulled away slightly, so Jake takes the defensive line. I give him a little nudge so he can catch back up to Dan G, who's up front. I look for the switchback, just can't quite get it. Jake takes the defensive line because he probably knows I'm going to try it. Just trying to stay on the bump problem here, as the pair of them weigh borderline nothing. As you can see, they just pull away because I weigh probably quite a lot more than them. So that's why I try to use my body weight through turn 1 here. You can see I can just take such a tighter line to Jake and Dan, and it just really helps me out. So trying to just keep up with Dan there. You can see he's starting to pull away, so I look at the inside of Jake, just can't quite get past. And now this is my Q2 pit lane to box, so as you can see I'm trying to get the kart to move just a little bit faster, and it's just really snail pace. So on a rapido pit, as you can see there, so jump out, full sprint to the bridge, there's people in my way, full sprint, full sprint, full sprint, touch the bridge, sprint back, no one in my way this time, jump back in the cart, foot straight back on the pedal, and we're back out. So my outlap has to be rapid now, so I can try and catch back up to Jake Anders, as he's the next one to pit. So as you can see, my my back end is a lot more slippy now, just from that little break, that little 20-second period of just being in the pit lanes has slowed it right down. And front end on this kart was very bouncy, so I was just trying to keep it under control as much as possible. So I'm just trying to get my lines perfect, as fastest outlap as possible, so Jake and Dan G don't pull away, which was my game plan. So as you can see, I'm looking across here, and I'm pretty sure that Dan G came out behind Lewis Tracy. So I'm not sure what happened there. I didn't get the chance to ask after the race, so Dan, if you watch this, please leave a comment. What happened is it was very unfortunate, as we went from P1 to P4, which really is a shame. I don't know what happened there. I don't know if your car did something in the pit lane, but you can see Dan was miles behind now, which is really unfortunate. And as you can see, Jake Anders just comes out slightly ahead of us, and there's nothing I can really do from now on, so I'm just trying to chase him down, close the gap, try and take advantage of him having colder tyres than me, as I've had another lap on top of his at this point. And as you can see, just having to take slightly swervier lines as a result of colder tyres. But at this point, I don't end up catching Jake. So well done everybody, it was a really good race, and thank you for watching. So I'm going to let you watch a bit more of this race, and yeah. So coming down the straight, I see the checkered flag, give the thumbs up to the marshal, ride up alongside Jake, give him a fist bump, because it was a phenomenal race by Jake, and the rest of the lads here. Some little victory swerves from me and Jake, little drift underground, and yeah. Once again, thank you for watching, leave a like, subscribe,